Boy, you filthy gits. Welcome back to the Great Crumpin'. What the crap's going on? So, hey, you all want to know something interesting? After the last episode, I woke up one morning and Grom was outside and he started beating me with a basted leg of Stunty. I mean, the smell was delicious, but the pain was pretty intense. And he was beating me saying that I hadn't done his immensity's will in responding to all your comments from the last episodes. And so I took the time to do that just now. Anytime you make a comment on these episodes, I'm going to respond to them one by one, so please continue to give me feedback. There's a lot of awesome feedback, and if I don't respond, his immensity is going to cook me, and you all will at least get the benefit of having some air broth or whatever it is that he decides to make out of me in the end. In any case, we're going to start the battle by, start the episode with a massive battle here, which honestly, this may be too much for Scrappius to spider get. I mean, I don't want to underestimate him, but this is a lot of stunties, and they are not going to be easy to stop. We will give it a shot, and then after the battle, I'm going to work on giving some updates on some different settlement names and unit names that you all suggested. We'll get those integrated and continue along the campaign. Well, Scrappius the spider get is going to have a chance to prove himself in a battle like none other that he's fought before. He's being attacked by a huge horde of Dawi, and he's going to be using his special Spidey sense to summon up some little arachnids and try and go interrupt the Dawi advance. And there's a lot of iron breakers, a lot of thunderers, and cannons, and these little Spideys are going to take some satchel charges off of the iron breakers, make their way around the flanks, and try and go for some cannons. The Arachnarok Queen can help them with the same thing. You can see the Stunties in a full-on approach. The Stunties had to come all the way across the map. The Norgrimling's iron breakers were greeted by the Goblobber. Sorry, the Goblobber? The Hammer of Gork. Oof. Boy, that's Grom's gonna cook me for sure on that one. The Dawi gyrocopters are leading the way as well, and you can see some of the more elite Dawi infantry wheeling up in an attempt to stop the enemy from being able to effectively use their satchel charges. The Spideys are going to come in and try and block iron breakers. See here the Hammer of Gork unleashing, and the battle lines are about to be met. Got my archers out front. They're going to take some shots at the peak gate guard because of their lack of shielding. Guess these particular Dawi didn't realize that it's a good idea to bring shields into combat. A good old Gork will fix it. Should slow these Dawi down to a crawl. And Kevin's going to come in and greet them the only way he knows how, by rolling around on the ground, making a fine Dawi paste that can later be put onto the toast of the greenskins. So it's going to be a big battle. The gyrocopters are going to be put down by all of the archers available, and of course all the Waagh troops are here as well. So far, there are spider summons being sent to harass the cannons. This is actually forcing the Dawi to keep quite a few units back here and try and protect their cannons, which are already in a relatively bad firing position. And what that's doing is it's allowing Scrappius to focus his efforts. You can see here that the trolls and the pump wagons, the Arachnarok Queen, and Kevin are making life very painful for all of the Stunty units. And then the Waagh reinforcements, all these Gobos, can come in and basically help fill in the ranks. So we're going to see here the Stunties getting absolutely pulverized on the front line. Ard-Ed Face Basha is right in here helping them out. There's over 4,000 units on the battlefield, and I have to apologize that because it's Total War, even my, $3,000 plus of computer hardware is gonna lag some frames here. There's the engine in Total War seems to be the limiting factor, not your hardware. You get into battles like this, but nonetheless, it still looks great. We're gonna get some massive fighting here. You can see the Dawi are just getting absolutely pulverized in the middle. They had really solid infantry, but it obviously just can't stand up to to Scrappius's army. Not well, at least. They needed all their guns up front in order to shoot down the trolls and other monsters, but the guns are being busied because he is a spider git. Scrappius has spiders back here keeping all of their guns pinned down. You can see even more spideys coming in to pester them. And without the guns, the Dawi are going to find themselves getting well and truly pummeled and a proper scrap, the way that greenskins enjoy. In fact, we can see the Bride of the Gut over here too, giving these stunties a proper bag battering. She learns from the best, which is Defishy Tittlemuncha. The Arachnarok Queen was pretty hungry. Stunties do have a very nice flavor if you're a spider. Nice hard shell on the outside, soft, gooey, and ale flavored on the inside. The Stunties are kind of constantly marinating their insides with ale. Makes them very nice to cook, in case you were ever wondering. At this point, the battle lines of the dwarves are broken, and they're just being driven back. Speaking of, I didn't actually manage to get it on camera, which was a big miss on my part, but Scrappius actually managed to get in, and with some debuffs and some help of the Immortals, he actually KO'd Grombrindal himself. Apologize that I missed that, but that's why he's standing at the back line, because he chased Grombrindal off the battlefield in utter disgrace. He may only be a Gobbo Shaman, but that doesn't mean he can't stand up to the White Dwarf in a way that would make the boss proud. And Grom will indeed be proud. In fact, this may be the moment. This may be the moment when Scrappius earns his new title, Scrappius, because he is the scrappiest Gobbo out there, obviously with the exception of the Great Gut himself. So, yeah, the dwarves are defeated. So what do y'all think? Did Scrappius earn his title of Scrappius here? I mean, holy crap. This is probably one of the most epic, lopsided beatdowns I've seen delivered in many campaigns. Many campaigns. Even with all the Iron Breakers and Thunderers and Cannons and Grombrindal. And Grombrindal makes his infantry absolutely absurd. Look at this. Look at this. Just look at the stats here. Kevin kills 158 Dawi. The Paunch Guard racks up 101. The Crimson Killers killed Grombrindal along with Scrappius himself, not even afraid of the White Dwarf. And look, didn't even take a scratch in the course of the battle. Didn't even take a scratch in the course of the battle. Used his magics to get tricksy all over these Dawi. I mean, what an epic beatdown. And now we get to eat the captives. This is the best part. So in case anybody was hungry, there we go. What an epic beatdown. Grom's ambush foiled? I mean, it is pretty easy to see Grom from a few miles away. He appears as a small mountain. Some of the people had some names for these places we took, and they were hilarious names. I didn't get to use them all, but Fester Spike, we are going to rename this one to Festering Puke by request. And speaking of request, we should have renamed Grunberg to Gromberg, which is pretty funny, and we had some other fun names too. They were really fantastic. Isleheart, though, will be renamed Islefart whenever we take it. What I'm going to need you all to help me with is the name for Nuln and some of these other ones. Just be looking ahead here to some of this Empire territory, because we's going to be crumping it and taking it for our own. And, I mean, this beatdown that Scrappius just put on the Stunties is just fantastic. Look at this. We even got our pirate friends headed up here to fight the Empire. So we've got all kinds of stuff going on. The Order Tide also is going to have to be facing off against Archaon, who, by the way, if he thinks he's getting any sympathy from us, then he's kidding himself. The only thing that he'll get if he comes down here is a massive crumping, and I do mean massive crumping, to the same order of the size of Grom's gut. I'm going to go ahead and do Earthing, and then try and get Arcane Conduit for Scrappius, now probably known as Scrappius, I would assume. Anyway, let me get to all the comments and names and stuff. We had some good stuff here. Cartel says that, you know, because in the last episode I asked how Grom could actually ambush someone. He said Grom doesn't hide. It's basically that he says, here's what he says, actually, I'll just read it word for word. It says he doesn't. Appetizers merely realize what he is subconsciously and mentally and block it out, thus avoiding him entirely. An effective survival strategy until Grom decides to add more appetizers to the pot. And then Grom gets colored gray, and then people see it and they think that, is that a mountain? And they get confused. And so that's how Grom actually does his ambushing, in case you all were wondering. Kemper-battering? Is that for Kemper-bad? Where is Kemper? But Kemper-battering is a hilarious name, but did we already take Kemper-bad? Oh, I bet we did. Kemper-bad, fired. Yeah, I think we've already taken it and renamed it. But I do love that name, so thank you for suggesting it. We had Hansel here who said that Kevin was unexpectedly hilarious. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and Kevin had quite the showing. He's already up to a silver chevron there. So he is definitely doing his work. And as far as some other comments, we had some other good names here too. It says since orcs and goblins come from the wastelands and they kind of screw humies, we need to call them the Step Brothers. You know, that's not a bad idea. We can get one of these. I'll save the black orc. Let's rename these guys the Step Brothers for that comment there. So perfect. And then okay, Riley, or yeah, it's okay, Riley, really? Don't know exactly how he's pronouncing it here, but he brought in an awesome comment that actually broke down the kills. And this is awesome here. So here's Grom the Paunch's kills. He has 29-34 against Paravan, 48-34 against Wissenlin, 1150 versus Kothik, 1913 against Greenskin Rebels, 714 against Beastmen, 3448 against Torgavon, 4,948 against Talzin. Widrioth has lost 270 souls. Safri 1475. Clan Angren 4,389, and that number just went up. Karak Norns lost 3137. Tylea 3832. The Reichland with a whopping 7,864 losses, and Evres with 617. So definitely appreciate that. That kill count is awesome. So Grom has an immense kill count to go with his immense gut. And then it was Ardek99 who suggested that we rename Fester Spike to Festering Puke. Ardek, we can definitely take care of that for you. So let's hit this rename while we're here. Rename Festering Puke. So perfect. We got a lot of good stuff done. Thank you again for all the comments. And remember that if I don't answer your comments, that Grom will once again savagely beat me over the cranium with a large troll leg that he has just gotten done basting. Now, hey, you all saw Fort Soll defend against greenskins many, many times in my gun campaign, and they can never take it. So I know that there's no guns in Fort Soll, or not all guns, but Scrappius is going to show you how the taking of Fort Soll is properly done. So we will take care of that, though he is going to need to wait just a minute here. We got some other stuff in Circle. They don't actually let you build any equipment, unfortunately, for fort sieges, because it's meant to kind of give the home team more of an advantage for having the fort, which makes a lot of sense, to be fair. The Reekland is going to have a pretty solid defense. Going to take a few turns for it to build all the way up, but we'll have a decent defense there. We do have to be in control of it at the end of the 11 turns in order to complete this wall. Oh, here's Kemper-bad. This should be Kemper-battering. There are humies here though that would that mean to do ill to Mork's Manor. Though I don't even know if they have the strength to take on Mork's Manor. I don't think they do, and it's not a particularly strong settlement at the moment. So I do believe Kemper-bad will become Kemper-battering, though at least for the moment, I think I'm just going to raise it to the ground, and we'll rename it, or actually I think we'll just sack it for the moment, and we'll rename it once we do take control of it. So let's take care of this at the moment, though. Defishy Tittlemuncha is up to level 42 here. Soothsayer, Tenacity, hard to hit, just never a bad thing to have for your units, because more melee defense equals longer alive. Oh, hang on, we gained an attribute. What attribute did we gain there? Traits gain. The Beard Hammer. Causes terror when fighting against dwarves. Now, a lot of dwarves are immune to terror, but not all. And so Scrappius now inspires terror against the Dawi for having slain the White Dwarf. And, I mean, couldn't be more appropriate, folks. Couldn't be more appropriate for him. I love it. Absolutely love it. So Bride of the Gut has leveled up. We got Teach Him Right here, which is kind of nice, but I think we should keep working on Bride of the Gut to get the Arcane Conduit. It's going to be pretty important there, so she can help Scrappius draw the Winds of Magic. They get the double draw. It'll be really good. And then Arded Face Basha is going to be harder to hit, and he is really tanky on this Warboar. Plus, he's got magic and poison attacks, as well as mostly AP damage. Let's take a look. Is there a oh, man, we got some massive ward saves here. Let's go back. We got the Armor of Destiny here for Scrappius. And that's a pretty good armor. We got this Dragonbane gem. Let's swap that out for a ward save. This will make Scrappius extremely good in melee. I'm going to keep the Tormentor Sword on him. It's only a common weapon, but honestly, it's probably better than him having the Sword of, or sorry, the Sword of Anti-Heroes there. Scroll of Air. That Scroll of Aramar is actually pretty good at the moment. There is a Power Stone, though, which would help him get improved magic. I may do that later, but as for now, we're going to leave him there. There's a Wailing Banner, which is a pretty cool banner to have. I'm going to throw that one on there, and we can use that with him the next time we go into combat. And casualties captured, campaign line of sight. Let's see what other kind of stuff. Leadership for Night Goblin units untainted in the local province. I'm going to keep this untainted. That'll be handy. Let's take a look at Bride of the Gut. She doesn't have a whole lot of equipment here, though we can give her the Sword of Anti-Heroes, but it really should be the bag of Anti-Heroes, because she's just going to give everybody a massive bag battering. And then there's the Seed of Rebirth. Oof. It's constant regeneration. Man, that Seed of Rebirth would be good on Scrappius as well. But let's see, our troll already regenerates, though. This would be a really good one to throw on Arded Face Basha. Now he'll regenerate. If we go back to the Talisman, we can help get an extra ward save for the River Troll Hag. Enemy Winds of Magic. A Fireball spell. Missile resistance actually could be really good, because she's pretty big missile target, so that could be handy, at least for the moment. And let's take a look at Ardhead. We've got him lined out pretty good. Not a whole lot else we can do for him at the moment. So I think we've got our folks fairly well equipped. Let's go sack Kemper-battering. You know, this will kind of be like the initial battering to get the flavor done for the settlement.
Remember it!
I honestly about half wonder if Grom could just take these guys alone, and I'm pretty certain he could. Maybe we should try that just for fun. Not just Grom. Let's take Grom and Demulcha and see if we can take these guys out pretty much all by our... Well, I mean, we got to have Defishy, Tittlemuncha, and Patchy. Okay, so it'll be my 4 units versus their army, okay?
Grom's gonna conquer these kids.
You know, Grom just isn't scared of enemy missiles at this point. He may be an immense target, but they just don't hurt. It's like he's got so many layers of blubber in his gut that it just effectively acts as a ward save. And I mean that quite literally. He took almost no damage coming up to the gate because of his abilities. And now he's going to use his great axe to chop his way through the gate. And remember that in order to prove his dominance over the humies, this is going to be Grom's 4 best against the entire settlement of humies. So you can see Demulcha back here, and then Patchy to Salty Stabba and Defishy Tittlemuncha all waiting their turn to get inside the gates. Right now, though, they're just having to kind of stand back. I'm a little bit worried about Patchy and Defishy Tittlemuncha. Not quite as survivable as Grom and Demulcha, so there are a fair number of handguns awaiting us, and crossbows. So things could get a little rough for someone who doesn't have quite the missile resistance as provided by Grom's Great Gut. Now, inside the gate, you can see the humies preparing for what might come through. They're expecting an entire wad. Check it out, their outriders are actually shooting the gate. It's nice to see them wasting their ammunition. If this were the Empire gun campaign, I would be a big fan of this, but it's not. And I'm unconcerned. You can see all the halberds lining and relining, trying to prepare for Grom's arrival. And it won't be long now before Grom is in. Him and Niblet ready to roll on in. You can see the humies' defense is prepared. Mulcha's gonna just throw some rocks, kill some random humies. And Grom is through. The gate is open. Let the slaying begin. So it won't matter how many hundreds of humies, spears, and their guns, they're going to have a difficult time stopping him. In fact, let's see. Despite all the damage that's being poured onto him, you can see it's not easy for them to stop him. That's 2 units of outriders and 4 units of halberds trying to hold him. And Grom is still holding in. The Fishy Tittlemuncha had a present for him, though. She gave a lot of these humies a big sunburn here. The Purple Sun of Zerus, which basically helped break up that big slog. And now Grom can go chase down these outriders who think that they're going to just get to sit back and shoot him. They can't outrun Grom. Even though he's the size of a mountain, they can't outrun him. It's pretty pathetic on their part. So Tittlemuncha got absolutely owned getting up here. You can see she's actually almost dead and about to rout. So, but it doesn't mean she can't summon in old Blacktooth's Revenge to help Patchy while she regenerates a few hit points. Meanwhile, Demolcha is now running the gun gauntlet to get up here. He's taken a lot of shots, but, you know, he's a tough customer. Did I say Grom's best 4? Because I guess when it's the Fishy Tittlemuncha, it's technically 5. Now, for some reason, rather than shooting, the Outriders decided to charge into melee, which is perfectly okay with me. The humies had a decent chance of knocking out the Fishy Tittlemuncha, but they didn't take it. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the kill count on Grom. He's already up to 117 kills, so 117 kills. Master Chief confirmed in the next Total War Legendary Lord DLC pack. 117. Get it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, these humies have some big problems. There's still a bunch of them up on the gates, but there's nothing to shoot at. And old Fishy Tittlemuncha is kind of just hanging out in the doorway, apparently taking a nap. She's just now waking up and regaining some of her hit points. You can see she's actually managed to pull in a few more hit points. I think she's getting knocked around by Blacktooth's Revenge and Mulcha. And these two guys are not going to be slowed down by any amount of Humie infantry, and nor is Grom. The enemy lord is actually in here fighting him too. Grom put him to rout and put him to shame, to be quite honest. So you can see this Empire captain driven off. 150 kills now for Grom. He is truly an immense and unstoppable force. And Kemper-battered will definitely become Kemper-battered eventually. Though for now, Grom is just going to sack and loot it to help give some teeth to the cause. Tittlemuncha's now healed enough to come back in and start giving people a bag battering, but there's still a fair number of halberds left, and she's a lot squishier than Grom in terms of taking damage. Fortunately for her, though, Grom's still around. He's going to be able to help her out. These swordsmen came down from the walls, and they'll be next to fall victim to Grom's immense charge. And fortunately for the Tittlemuncha, she's got the support of the Mulcha. One big clap of his hands, and you can see what happens around here. Though, I mean, it's been a rough battle for her. She's taken more damage than she's used to, but she's definitely happy to go support the boss and proving that the humies are just that inferior. Look at old Blacktooth's Revenge here. Just looks like he's also taking a nap. I love it. Some doom and darkness scared away the humies. You can hear that going off in the background. And meanwhile, Grom doesn't really need any assistance. He's just going to tank this out all by his lonesome. He's probably up to 200 kills. Yeah, 230 kills. And the humies are finally shattered. Well, boys, Kemper-battered, I didn't realize it had walls because I wasn't paying attention, but despite the walls, the entire settlement, no match. No match for 4 from Grom's army. So 4 versus 936. We'll take those odds. So it was a decisive victory.
Smash it up, boys.
We're going to sack it.
Make 'em dead.
Get some teeth for the punch. Because that's the way we roll around here. Because that's just the way we roll around here. Get back. Do some replenishing. Let's get Grom to punch leveled up here. Let's see what we were working on. Oh, it looks like we were getting really close to some of this awesome stuff out here. Out clevering. Mob boss. We definitely want lightning strikes for the boss so that he can have a little more flexibility in how he engages enemies. As far as the fishy Tittlemuncha, expeditious endeavors would be good. Make her faster to get into the bag battering. And as for Patchy to Salty Stabba, I think we've done just about everything we can for him from a fighting standpoint. And it's now time to just put together his... I know, it's hard to imagine that greenskins have skills outside of scrapping, but they do. You know, like Grom with his cooking. Grom's a very talented chef. Very talented indeed. We've got quite a few teeth. We can probably do some building. We are going to have some beastmen back here spreading their taint in our newly cleaned woods. And Scrappius the Spider-Git, or now as he's going to be known as Scrappius the Great, Scrappius the Legend, needs to take down Fort Soll. So let's make this happen. We're going to use his Waagh army probably for a bit of chaff to get things started, and then move in with the main force. Paying attention to my channel, I'm watching the all-gun Empire campaign. You'll be familiar with Fort Soll. Now, we are not up against an all-gun Fort Soll, but the Spider-Git, Scrappius here, he has not been real impressed with his Black Venom brothers' attempts to take Fort Soll, and now he's going to get his own chance. So he's got the boys already, and then Waagh is here as well. So you can see them over here getting ready to scale the walls. The humies are ready for a full-scale assault. I say that. They actually forgot to garrison the walls here. They have a lot of great swords and a lot of handguns, so it may not be an all-gun. But the guns were actually fooled momentarily by a bunch of spiders to help reduce the amount of damage my infantry would take. But the guns are going to cause some extreme damage. There are rockets firing, but fortunately for me, a lot of those rockets are actually causing friendly fire as well. You can see the humies have chosen to defend Fort Soll in a less than efficient way. They've got a cannon, a hellblaster, and a couple of rockets back here. And my forces are now scaling the walls. And we should see the first units entering combat here shortly, as the Black Orcs, the Immortals, all crawling up the walls. These guys know how to scrap, and the humans are going to find themselves in a less than pleasant engagement. See the boys getting started here. Meanwhile, we've got Kevin making his way to the gates, and we're giving the gates a bag battering and a face bashing, because we got Arded and Bride of the Gut here smacking the gate down. Meanwhile, all of the gobos and boys from the Waagh are climbing the walls, and they're able to come up here and get into combat. And then some of the handguns are now going to be starting to be silenced, though there are some great swords here as well. But the arrival of the gobos on the walls will help stop the great shooting. So the Battle of Fort Soll well and truly underway, and it is a beautiful one, is it not? All the scrapping, the fighting. You can see all the archers from the Waagh now in place, firing back on all the guns on the walls. And the gate is now going to be assaulted by Kevin as well, as a bunch of trolls. So the gate will not last long. You can see the Immortals have already captured their position on the wall, and some of their brothers are now charging forward into some great swords elsewhere. Just let you all get a look here at everything that's going on. There's a lot of rocket fire coming in on my troops. Some of it is causing friendly fire to the humies, some is not. You can see the archers doing a good job of thinning out the guns, which has been quite helpful for my units who are waiting to get through the gates. They are about to be able to get in. There's still a few gunshots raining down on them, but the gates are broken. Here comes the river trolls, Kevin. There's going to be other trolls, Bride of the Gut. You can see the only person here to meet them is the Empire Captain, and yeah, he's a little bit out of his weight class here. Immediately, I'm going to take some trolls and start running up the ramp to go silence the artillery because the Empire hasn't left any infantry to guard said artillery. It's going to leave them particularly vulnerable. There's a few humies up here left fighting on the walls, and they are just suicidally firing rockets into this blob, sometimes hurting their own and sometimes hurting me pretty badly. Some Empire Knights were dispatched to try and stop this invasion. But here comes the Arachnarok Queen and some trolls. They should put an end to these Empire Knights pretty quickly. You can actually see men flying off the walls, too. We've got some river trolls headed that way, and the Stunty puntas all headed for the victory point where the artillery is camped. You can see that the full-on invasion is now underway. I'm now able to outflank the Empire troops on the walls as well. So they'll have goblins in front and behind from the ladders, and the humans are being outmaneuvered. And over here, the Immortals is going to get up on the wall and help put an end to these great swords that's fighting their brothers. And like I said, the rockets are still just on an absolute kamikaze mission. The bravest knights of the Empire are fleeing. And as we can see, my trolls are arriving, as are some snotling wagons. So this is going to be the end of the artillery for the humies, and really the end of any chance that they had of causing any significant damage. So, although Black Venom failed over and over again, is Scrappius not truly indeed now Scrappius? Because he was able to do what Black Venom couldn't with so many armies and so many times. He was able to capture Fort Soll, bring it under the control of a greenskin Waagh. I think he does. I think he deserves that title. Now that is how you properly Waagh Fort Soll. Scrappius indeed. Again, you all tell me what you think of the chat, but Scrappius took Fort Soll, defeated the Stunties, brought home all kinds of delicious meats for his lord. Yeah, he's going to occupy the fort because it's a very high level fort and will give us a great way to pinch any enemies in. It's already up to tier 4, which is going to give us quite the defenses. Quite the defenses. Now they'll have to be built back up, but we'll be in good shape.
Nasty magic's ready.
Nasty magics indeed. It's my kind of nasty magics. We can use a Night Shroud actually to maybe help us in the next siege where our gets might be unspottable for a little while. Let's finish off Ard to hit. Or let's do training and then Ard to hit. Get all this stuff. We've got a bit of scrap here. I think the Crimson Killers are going to need some scrap. They can either have longer weapons or jagged weapons. I think I'm going to give them jagged weapons just so these guys can absolutely shred through infantry. It's going to take up quite a bit of our scrap, but let's put it to work. Be a good use of scrap. Make our Crimson Killers get a bonus versus infantry on top of their already absurd performance. Absurdly wonderful, that is. Alright. Grom sacked Kemper-battered, and Scrappius took Fort Soll and defeated the Stunties, and might I add, pretty much all in the space of one turn end, because they're awesome. Let's damage the walls of Nuln. Way to fail, Faily. I think one of our, our agent got wounded too, right? Yeah, Porco got wounded. He's the real wall destroyer. Alright, we've got a lot of teeth here, and we should probably put them to good use. Let's build up some top-tier stuff. Massive Gut needs to represent its boss, and at this point, I feel like it does. Tittlemunch's Lair we've owned for a long time, and it probably deserves some teeth as well. see, growth, replenishment. Ambush success chance. I don't know if any of that's super worth it. This provides untainted, which we have at this point. We've got doom divers galore. Let's just make sure we can recruit from any of these particular settlements as well. The ranch, Humi-Pate, Darikland. Darikland needs some more hag hut here. Absolutely love it. Reekland's looking good. We're gonna skip some of these building upgrades, save some teeth, learn some more. Look at this. The Stunties, not so happy what I did to Stunty takeout. Moving in behind me, of course attacking where I don't have proper defenses, because I would never expect a straight fight from a Stunty. Lost Stunty takeout. I don't think so.
Humies for breakfast.
He does eat humies for breakfast, and they're delicious. Absolutely delicious. Wounded? How is this kind of stuff even possible? How is this kind of stuff even possible?
The Goblin King.
Alright, we got the Goblin King. We've taken Fort Soll. Festering Puke needs to be built up to max defense tier in order to help hold off humies. Looks like the Vampire Coast is moving in. It's too bad we can't actually get Grom's Waagh guns from Nuln. That would be pretty spectacular if we could.
Now they'll see.
But we can't let the Stunties retake their stuff back here. Got Stunty takeout. Skaven rebels. Vampires should be taking care of their own business. Yeah, we've got some Stunties behind us.
Fine.
We've got some Stunties behind us. We're gonna go wreck a few of their settlements and let them know that they're in the wrong place. So these places will have to be sieged, though the Dawi may have artillery and be able to bust right through, but we'll hopefully rely on that. I was kind of hoping that Grom would have someone to damage some walls for him so he wouldn't have to deal with that. On the next turn, we'll get Porco back, and he may well just do that. The Reekland is about to gain even more defenses.
No one can stop Grom.
I agree. I really don't think that anybody can stop Grom. I think that's a fair statement. Your massiveness.
Gonna squish him.
It says that Nuln is gonna win. That's funny. Let's get some towers ready.
Grom's gonna conquer these.
Let's see if this will draw the humies out of hiding to come defend Nuln. And we should be able to end another turn here. Alright. Looks like the Stunties is going to head towards Patchy's Pungent Palace. So I'll actually double back that direction. Get ready to head them off. Destroy this army so that their damage will be stopped. Let's see if the Stunty Food Bank does have this building helping to spread some untainted. Let's build it higher. Let's get more teeth out of there as well. Festering Spike is working on defenses. This building serves no particular purpose at the moment. Let's get some teeth. And let's see how long Nuln can hold out. Porco is back, though he won't be able to damage walls on this turn. We'll take Porco ahead and just kind of scout out where the humies is going to come from. We're not actually at war with Karak-Hern, which is kind of amazing. If they even think about moving against Humburger Helper or Humi-Pate, we'll give them something to think about. All right, we're going to keep the boys sweet. You know how sweet Grom is. Very sweet individual.
Anything you say.
Anything you say. That's the way I like to hear it, Scrappius. I'm actually going to move in and lay in an ambush.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We get some stabbing ready. He's ready to do some stabbing for sure. Get some Purple Sun. Get the Bride of the Gut ready for some serious magics. Looks like the Empire is going to be suffering at the hands of the Vampire Coast, which is no longer on the coast, but moving quite a long ways inland. Grom has no interest in all of this old world, though, so it's good to see some other folks come in here and destroying humies. Our real interest lies to the west on the coast of Ulthuan, which is where we'll be going after we waugh up these humies.
Grom always wins.
Finish it up.
Remember it.
Grom does always win.
Make him dead. Impossible.
Oh boy. Let's take Porco and come over here and start working on Flensburg. I guess that needs to be Flemsburg. Or maybe we can just rename that one to Gromberg if we end up taking it.
Would break my vows.
I don't care anything about your vows. Your vows are meaningless to Grom. The only vow that he cares about is the one to cook all humans. Spent some money on the Reek land there. There's some good growth and good teeth to be had. We're gonna need another army. I need you all to get in those comments and start telling me what kind of army we're gonna make. And look at this, the beastmen back here ruining my perfectly good lumber yard. What a joke. We'll have to fix them. Looks like Mr. Kimmler wants military access. We have a non-aggression pact with them. Let's counter this offer. And see if we can make another ally against the Humie filth. Well, the Stunty food bank might get attacked by the Stunties. They ran away as soon as they saw Scrappius laying in ambush. And they fled while soiling their armor. We're going to lay in another ambush and see if we can get them to attack the Stunty food bank. But yeah, so this will get us in good position. Fort Soll will now stand as the defense and be a nice blocker between the mountains. Now, of course, certain factions can just go underneath it. Looks like Filedorf is next up. And 7 more turns, we will have completed our Waagh versus the Reekland. And a couple more turns, we'll need to cook a new dish, too. I think we still have the mission, yeah, cooking for the hag. So, looks like she wants something with fishy chunks. We'll make sure to do that for her. In any case, looks like we're honestly ready to do some more research here. Our big Finken is almost finished. We can do some spider worship, some heavy metal, scrap upgrades for orc boys, Arab boys, biggins. This would be good. We've got scrap coming in every turn now, thanks to our big Finken. Let's see how our conversion of the Reekland is going. We want more heaps of shiny stuff. Because we're going to need another army. Like I said, I'll need your input on said army. Alright, Festering Puke is now defended. Let's get a bigger heap of shiny stuff there as well. And let's end this turn. War Fervor it is. It seems the Stunties is going for a double siege. They've sieged the Stunty food bank. And then Grombrindal, fresh off of his last beating, is back for another destruction at the hands of Scrappius. Oh, but he ran. How typical. How typical. Run away, Grombrindal, run away. And we are just a hair under our ability to lay in an ambush. Well, we'll see how we can deal with that next. Gilbert Ironpick is the one laying siege up here. His army is actually not that good. Stunty food bank will be fairly well defended. Fort Soll is going to be well defended. Ah, looks like the Emperor himself coming to maybe try and right the wrongs that were done him at the Reekland. We're going to actually lay off the siege of Nuln because it's a waste at this point. We were going to go pay a visit to our friend Karl. That is his real name. Porco has leveled up. He can max damage wall, cleanse corruption. Let's take Porco back up here and get ready to do some work. I'm gonna move up with Grom and lay in an ambush. See if we can get Franz to fall for it. Get him to attack the Reekland. The Reekland is not supremely well defended. But we have 6 turns to continue to defend it. On the next turn, we need to go ahead and cook up a new dish for the hag. And speaking of next turn, let's see what it brings. Well, looks like the dwarves are willing to fight Scrappius as long as it's 2v1. But hey, those odds are fine. It was 2v1 last time, and Scrappius managed to handle himself just fine. Pretty sure he can do so again. Well, just because he did it once doesn't mean he can't do it twice. I'm just going to start calling him Scrappius at this point. I may have already done that on the campaign map. Remember, I'm recording these at a different time than the other ones. But Scrappius now, high on all of his success, has the opportunity to destroy even more Dawi. They attacked him, but they're coming in from different angles. As you can see, the other ones thought they could camp, which really makes their fellow Dawi very happy that they camped in the back while they get stuck with the full-on force of Scrappius the Spider Git and his army. And you can see it is a lot of force. It is a force to be reckoned with. Kevin, who is now a figure in our hearts, has gotten to kill a lot of stunties. I'm sure he's really enjoying it. It's probably what makes Rogue Idols the happiest. You can see the stunties immediately fleeing away straight off the battlefield. Their leadership unable to hold together, being absolutely crumped by the full force of the Waagh. The Death Creepers are the only answer to the Gyros, so the Gyrocopters will continue to try and fire away. Doom and Darkness is being used by the Bride of the Gut, along with the terror caused by the Arachnarok Queen, and a Waagh also. So the Stunties get quickly driven off the battlefield, and their camping brethren having to now hoof it all the way across the map in an effort that is utterly too late to save their brothers. You can see here that the Dwarf Lord being unceremoniously escorted off the field by Scrappius's spiders, and now we're just going to reposition. So I'm going to run the fast forward here and get you all to the end of this fight. All right. Couple moments later, the final engagement's ready to take place. Scrappius has his army on the left, his Waagh is on the right, and the Dawi are charging forward. I have to admit, fairly brave for them to be attacking like this, but it may just be bravery caused by the auto-resolve's inability to predict what the outcome's going to be. So remember, the auto-resolve thinks that the dwarves had a pretty good chance here. We can all see how that's going for them. There will not be enough Thunderers who are going to live long enough to have any significant impact on all of the big units that Scrappius is going to throw at them. Comes the Snotling Wagons, the Trolls, the Spider Queen. These miners are about to get mined. Are these the Stunty Clubbas? Oh, this is the Dwarf Droppas. Almost as good. So you can see the second Dawi army now fully engaged and in big trouble. Here's Grombrindal right in the middle of all of it. You can actually see Scrappius over here right in the middle of it. He lives up to his name. There are some unbreakable Longbeards over here. They've got like a banner or something that's going to make them unbreakable. The small contingent of cavalry that Scrappius keeps was able to rip up the Dawi cannons. And there's another Waagh underway. So the amount of damage being output by Scrappius and his Waagh is going to be utterly absurd at this point. You can see the stats here on just, say, like a simple unit of Orc Boys with 68 melee attack. And that is going to be the absolute shattering of the Dawi forces. Folks, Grombrindal, again, destroyed, his army eaten. There is no equal. There is no equal. Oh man, what would be a good unit to have terror on? Let's put it on the Crimson Killers. Alright, let's take a look at what's going on at this point. We've got our folks back ready for duty.
I am a rune lord.
The dwarves could not successfully destroy Scrappius. And we are going to just go ahead and rename him Scrappius. I think he has earned the title Scrappius the Great. He is certainly going well above and beyond any normal goblin's capability. So let's name him Scrappius. There he is. Scrappius to spider get in all his glory, and he is getting closer to his spider. Ever so close. He's not even picking up a lot of chevrons from killing these Dawies. That just kind of shows you how pathetic the Dawi are here at this point. They have no hope against his Waagh. Let's destroy Grombrindal once again. Ooh, glittering scales. Not bad, not bad. Not great, but could be put to good use. I'm going to start speeding back towards the Stunty food bank as Gilbert Ironpick intends to break his way through. And we're not going to let that happen. The skill point here, let's go ahead and unlock Curse of the Bad Moon. We'll get Arcane Conduit next. And then as for Bride of the Gut, she is getting closer to being able to have Arcane Conduit as well. So the winds of magic will greatly increase for that particular army, which will make them obviously far more devastating. Let's see, our boar could always use a little charge defense, and we'll use this get back here. That could be really handy in case the boys need some inspiring leadership in order to stay in certain fights. Ooh, it looks like Sartosa got cleansed, or at least pushed back by Volkmar. Maybe Volkmar will come try his luck at Fort Soll. Could be interesting. And it looks like Karl's hoping to spoil our Waagh. Let's see what happens if he attempts to do so. I don't care what has your consent, Karl. Bring it on, son. Been waiting on you a long time. Been waiting on you a long time to get your sorry butt up here. Damage some walls at Nuln. Mission failed. Murder the man-filth? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm doing a pretty good job of murdering man-filth. I don't need your opinion there. Everything we've got left is going to require scrap, so it's a good thing we're taking on scrap or actually, hang on. Let's scrap that scrap. Because we're going to need the scrap to do some cooking. Grom is hungry, and let's make sure we understand. So the hag, we get an extra cauldron slot. She says, me wants something with fishy chunks. A dish what needs 3 things in it. Okay. We know she wants some fish. We got this here goldfish. Let's throw that in. That'll give it some nice fishy chunks. And then, let's see here. Anti-infantry. Ooh, I really like this harpy teeth ammunition. I'm going to throw that one in. And then this troll meat gives the regeneration to Grom's troops, which is handy and just... Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, we can throw this in. We can throw that in. Now we get the troll meat, so it's going to give us another fine Misty Mountain broth. I don't know. Hopefully this will make her happy. Hopefully it'll make her happy. What do we got here? Passive Berserk for all orc infantry. Let's cook for the hag here and see what she wants.
The boys can have the burnt bits.
Did we get the hag what she wants? With fishy chunks, a dish what needs 3 things in it. You've accepted the food. River hags may not be. Of course, there'll be rewards. Okay, I don't know. We cooked. I don't know if it made her happy. Does it have to be a new dish with the fish in it? I have no idea. We still got enough scrap for now in case it's needed. Let's save some, actually, on this turn end. And let's see what else we can accomplish here. Well, Franz didn't fall for the ambush, but looks like Volkmar wants a piece of Fort Soll. And he might darn well get it. Those rockets are going to make things challenging. But I don't know, let's see what we can do. Sometimes you can get lucky on these fort defenses and pull off amazing feats. So it's going to be interesting defending Fort Soll without a bunch of guns. Now, as much as I wish I could give my Waagh a bunch of Daka, this is not 40k, and it's not going to be allowed. Volkmar has brought a huge force, and honestly a relatively elite force of halberds, greatswords, demigryphs, rockets, the Luminarch of Hysh, and he even brought his pimp wagon here. Whoa. Didn't remember clicking that, but it happened. In any case, we're going to see Volkmar's forces attempting to get to the walls. We can already see the Doom Divers ready to greet the enemies at the gate. Speaking of enemy at the gate, that was a good movie. There we go, the Doom Divers doing what they do best. They're already hitting the rocket batteries and causing damage. And you can see my Orc Error boys raining death out here on the approaching troops. And I'm going to do this for as long as I can until the ladders hit the wall and we are forced to fall back. But by manning the towers and firing arrows from the walls, we're able to cause some extra damage to the enemy, get them to waste rockets, get them to waste effort. And as you can see, multiple units they have taken significant damage in that approach. This is why it's worth it. You can actually see the rocket batteries also taking substantial damage. They're being targeted by my towers and the Doom Divers. So the rocket batteries are in bad shape. They're being used to break down the gates because Volkmar is looking for an entrance. His units have now scaled the walls, and let me go show you the defense. My archers are going to fall back. It's too bad we couldn't redecorate for Soll. These pathetic Humi statues need to be replaced with something proper. We've got our trolls here and our black orcs waiting in the middle, as well as some extra biggins. We have biggins waiting at the tops of the ramps to fend off anything the Humies can send. And our archers will soon join our Doom Divers here at this nice overlook in order to rain some Daka down on their enemies. See, the rockets are still attempting to break through the gates. They actually sent the Luminarch to melee the gates. It's a pretty strange decision indeed. Let's take a look here. One of the rocket batteries is about to rout. It's lost a gun. The other one's down to only one rocket launcher and has also taken substantial losses. But I no longer control the towers, so can't continue to fire. The gate is now open, though, and the Luminarch of Hish is going to be the first thing brought inside. It's a strange idea. It's going to take a shot at my Doom Divers. Honestly, this is a bit dangerous for my artillery, albeit it took a shot at my archers, and it was a pretty good shot. My Doom Divers will be the recipient of some Luminarch love here soon. At this point, my archers are running back to the capture point. The steam tank has been firing at us as well. You can see now the rockets are going to be used against my retreating units. Soon I'll be out of their range. Here comes a shot from the Luminarch, and hits one of my artillery pieces, destroying it. So you can see the Luminarch is indeed a threat. Not a whole lot I can do about it at the moment. I just don't have anything that can do the damage from range. See the Hellstorm rocket batteries continue to kind of follow my troops in with its shots. Though I don't think those rocket batteries will be effective for too terribly much longer. Got these Demigryph Knights here. I'm going to assault them with some Doom Divers as they make their way in. My archers are almost back to safety, though they've been pummeled pretty heavily by rockets as they return. Now you can see the rocket fire going after my boar boys, who are now back to safety. There are a few stray archers back here for the Kitty Cat Knights to attack, but DeBiggins is waiting, and they're going to put an end to this cavalry charge. See, my archers are going to get up here and get positioned. All these Humi tombstones, though, are quite appropriate. Tells the story of how Fort Soll was taken the first time. Fortunately for me, there's not a lot of rockets left in the rocket battery out there. And you can see now the steam tank approaching, the Luminarch firing, and instead of dropping it on one of the ramps where it would make a lot of sense, you can see Volkmar uses Banish on my artillery. So at this point, I'm kind of saying CA please, but I'm also saying CA thank you for making the AI so wickedly stupid when it had such a good way to break up the fight on the ramps. It could have just plowed Volkmar in right after he dropped a Vanishment and busted his way through, but instead, they are stupid, and it plays right into my hands. Now, all of our Heir Daka up here is now in position and going to begin firing. So approaching Humi troops are going to take a lot of damage. Their handguns are now approaching as well as halberds. So there'll be plenty of units to damage. The Demigryph Knights have begun their assault, and they're using their mass to try and push back the Biggins up the step. And the steam tank has made its way to the other ramp and thought that it could just sit back and shoot my units to death, but I'm going to move my units to break its line of fire and force it to have to come up the ramp, where we can then swamp and surround it, using trolls and boars to put an end to it with their armor-piercing attacks. Our biggins are clearly not scared of these Demigryph Knights. They'll be able to hold ground, and I've brought some Black Orcs to help reinforce them with some armor-piercing damage. Meanwhile, the approaching Humie guns and halberds are under heavy arrow fire. So the defense plan is working according to plan, at least for the moment, and the steam tank has now fallen for our trap. It begins to come up the ramp, and now we'll be able to full-scale assault it. Here comes the trolls, the boars, and the biggins all to come take out this steam tank. Despite its thick armor, it is still susceptible to a good old-fashioned clubbing because of the armor-piercing nature of the clubs. And you can see Black Orcs going to reinforce over here too. This is actually the unit that my captain's in. So this Orc captain will be able to help hold up the leadership. However, unfortunately for us, here comes Zentler's Reichsguard. So a bit of reinforcement here for the humies. However, the Zentler's Reichsguard won't be particularly effective in breaking through this tough line of boys. See the handguns being mostly nullified at this point. Another banishment dropped by Volkmar, but again, all in the wrong place. It should have been dropped over here, which would have allowed him to cause a breakthrough. His Demigryph Knights are completely bogged down. A little bit of friendly fire, but the Doom Divers is attempting to land some shots in the middle of this fight. Though, obviously, some of those shots, it didn't go great for us. But who knows? Maybe occasionally we'll get lucky. Let's see. Here comes the next wave of suicidal goblins. Oh, yeah. They scored a couple of hits. We'll take it. See the Luminarch is still firing away at my artillery, and the old steam tank over here is completely bogged down, and it's taking a lot of damage and will eventually be defeated. So the defense of Fort Soll is so far looking quite good. The Doom Divers continue to cause probably more friendly fire than damage because they're coming in at a bit low angle. You can see the Luminarch there not really having much effect. Most of its shots hitting the walls. It will be low on ammunition, and my Orc Heirs still have a fair bit of ammunition at this point. There's a few great swords that came to help out over here, but it's not going to be enough. Sorry, halberds and great swords, both of which are being forced out of the fight. And the steam tank is now really starting to take significant amounts of damage, and Zentler's Reichsguard is almost completely destroyed. At this point, I get a Waagh finally, which will be massively helpful over here against this larger fight. It is a big problem. Big problem indeed. The Empire has thrown all their forces here. Halberds, great swords, Demigryph Knights, and they are pushing hard. So far, Du Bois is holding out strong, and you can see actually we got a really solid hit there from a Doom Diver as well. Caused some really nice damage there. Volkmar is still alive, though, and he's yet to commit to these fights, even though his troops badly need him. Just kind of shows you the kind of leaders that humies are. Not willing to get out in front and do some scrapping. Getting a couple of good Doom Diver shots there. The fight with the tank continues. It'll be over soon. All the reinforcements around the tank are gone, and now a complete surround is in effect, and the tank is taking massive damage. Meanwhile, Volkmar decides that he might need to come join this fight and try and help his men out. Although they've already taken significant damage and he's wasted his banishments. He's going to use his mass here, come charging in, and he might well plow through. He's also got his special abilities that he's going to use to buff his troops. You can see here that he's got Grand Shield of Faith and Grand Hammer of Sigmar. He does not have Grand Soulfire, fortunately for me, which would cause some pretty significant damage. But so far, he has not done any soul firing. He kind of gets bogged up on my trolls, which is fine with me, but then he's able to push through. And as he pushes through, I've got some boar boys in reserve that we'll use to come hit him. As he rear charges me here, he has the potential to cause a big rout, so it's a fairly dangerous situation. Out of ammunition, the Luminarch of Hysh charges forward and just gets hit by the arrow boys. It will soon be destroyed. Volkmar has to collapse into the back of this fight, and he's now surrounded by boars, and he is now going to be in bad shape. The steam tank was shut down, taken out of commission. You can see that it took a definitely good club in there. They left it in excellent condition. Used like new. The rest of the boys now can be transferred over into the fight against Volkmar, and it is going to be quite the grind. However, most of Volkmar's troops are starting to suffer leadership issues. Volkmar himself is unbreakable and will stand and fight for quite some time. And remember, he actually heals at a pretty decent clip also, and so it's going to take a long time to pull him apart, but there's nothing stopping the boys from accomplishing that. You're going to see me just kind of completely surround him and tear him to pieces. He has a lot of healing. On top of the healing he gets from the Jade Griffin, he's also got Seed of Rebirth, if I'm seeing it right. So he is, like I said, healing at a fairly substantial rate, making him a fairly powerful character to kill. But it's no problem for the boys of Fort Soll. They can handle it. Let you watch this fast-forward clubbing here as they axe Volkmar questions over and over again, forcing him to answer in a way that he doesn't like. Yeah, Volkmar and his wagon are going to be brought to an unceremonious end here. Off of his high horse, folks. Well, to be fair, Volkmar actually had a pretty decent army for humies. It was delicious, all these different things to taste, but it still just didn't work out for him. Didn't work out. Well, our ambush outside of the Reekland did not work, but we did learn that Fort Soll is basically going to be an immovable object in the mountains, and it's not even tier 5 yet, so rest in pieces, Empire. We got to make sure that the Emperor doesn't take this back. He's over here raiding near Karlberg, and Grom's going to take the fight to Franz. This guy's been hiding from us for way too long, and it's time to deal with him. Outside of the Reekland, the Emperor finally shows his face, and Grom gets a chance to prove himself against the best the Empire has to offer. Now, that is kind of a misleading statement when you use Empire and best, especially when you are Grom de Paunch. I mean, just look at the gut on this guy. No fear whatsoever. He's going to charge straight into the Empire troops, and again, show them what a real leader looks like. Look at that dodge. They can't even hit a massive Grom with their charge. See the Altdorf Griffites, and Karl actually pulls out of the fight. You can see like, oh no, never mind. I don't want to fight Grom. Karl chickens out and goes for lowly gobos, unwilling to fight Great Grom de Paunch. And speaking of the Great Grom de Paunch, look at the damage that he's already causing to their army. He's got half of their army blobbed up back here, and he's killing them by the dozens. Meanwhile, we got the Mulcha moving in, and we brought in some trolls to give Franz a good clubbing while he's shot by our Night Goblin archers, who do have all that extra ammunition thanks to the Harpy Teeth. They're looking to get shots at Karl, but he's in the middle of the trolls, so it's slowing them down a bit. There's fights all along the line as my troops engage, and you can see here Defishy Tittlemuncha once again gonna sunburn all the humies who are bogging down Grom. Want to get him free so that he can go work elsewhere. He's got a lot more humies to kill. See the Tittlemuncha over here giving folks their appropriate bag battering, and then our Gobos regenerating while they fight. See Mulcha now wants a piece of the Emperor. Look at this. Karl just chickens out constantly. He goes to fight the weakest goblins in the army and still runs away because he can't take the heat. Stay out of the kitchen, Franz. See Blacktooth's Revenge now summoned. Franz decides again to come attack some weak goblins. But he's going to be pierced by a lot of goblin arrows at the same time. He's taking some serious damage here. Now he decides to come attack Blacktooth's Revenge. He'll probably end up regretting that. There's someone who wants to come give Franz a stabbing, and it's Patchy. Patchy wants the honor of killing the Emperor since the Emperor wouldn't fight Grom. And you can see here that Patchy is going to indeed get the opportunity to kill the Emperor and Deathclaw. So Patchy the Salty Stabber racks up a kill, a much coveted kill, and pleases Grom very much. You can see an easy victory for the Paunch.
The win-win.
Well,
boys.
the Paunch's gut is just bigger than Franz,
Big
and that explains a lot.
They'll do. Grombrindal.
I mean, how do you expect to lead a faction with a gut that small?
Gonna be drums.
Just doesn't seem feasible. Just doesn't seem feasible. Alright, so Franz's weak attempt to take back the Reekland is failed. And at this point we've got Scrappius Despida get ready to tie up the greens, or the tie up the Stunties at the Stunty food bank. We still got some work to do. We got to take back our Stunty takeout. And of course the jerk beastmen are back here. We have enough money for another army. I need you all to help me decide what that army's gonna be. I'm gonna go use Porco to see if we can block army here. Okay.
Mr. Stabby.
Mr. Stabby. Let's see how you're not that stabby. You don't have a chance to assassinate that guy.
Those gates will be open. You see.
Yeah, I haven't seen yet, but I guess I'll wait. Keep waiting. Let's do spider worship. Karat Crumped can be totally built out. Should be pretty cool, albeit not entirely necessary at the moment. Gonna work on kind of keeping our income up. Like I said, with the teeth, I'm just gonna kind of save a bit here. See where I'll spend some where it's gonna earn me some. And let's end our turn here. Though we're making a lot of teeth. So the Stunties left the food bank and they want a piece of Fort Soll. I don't feel like playing this. It's gonna be pretty annoying. Honestly, we might be able to even win it. It's hard to say. These are just standard miners, but yeah, I just don't want to play it. So I'll go up there and beat the Stunties. They didn't even take the fort. They've just sacked it. Alright. Unfortunately, Fort Soll got knocked down a tier. And it's going to be a while until we have enough surplus population to build it up. So that's a little bit frustrating, to say the least. The Stunties just did that and then ran off. How come you're not at war with the Stunties?
This best be quick.
It won't be quick. Listen, you're going to join the war against Karazakarak. You dig? And I'll offer you some payment to do so. Is there a reason why you're so absolutely yellow? What do you want, Salt Spite? What do you want? Loser. Alright. Salt Spite's a wuss. She doesn't know how to scrap.
The tribe's ready.
She'll be lucky if I don't come in and finish her off. Let's actually just hit an ambush stance right here and see if the Stunties will move back over here because they think there's nothing protecting and there'll be more for them to go after. They may go back and just double back on Fort Soll. Why are they sieging Humi-Pate? It doesn't have walls, but I've never seen the AI do this before. Balthasar absolutely has the means to take it.
Fatter than anyone.
Something with fishy chunks. Hang on, we want something with mucky stuff. A dish what needs 3 things. I don't know what to cook for her there. I haven't figured that one out.
Chariots rolling out.
Alright, we're gonna get up here and wait and try and catch Balthasar. I'm gonna use Porco, head back this way towards Balthasar. Keep trying to level this dude up. Keeps failing, but eventually we'll get his chances a little higher. Let's wait a while actually to do some research because it all uses scrap and I might need the scrap to do the cooking challenge. Let's end this one. Well, the humies are going to go ahead and make pate of Humi-Pate and then probably run away. Look at this. The leftovers are going to come back for Fort Soll just because they can right now. But they didn't even take it, they just wrecked it again. This behavior from the AI makes little sense. That fort would be strategically quite helpful to them. But since it's been wrecked down several levels by marauding AI armies, it's going to be a lot less strong than it was. It's unfortunate. It ruined the ambush, but Balthasar's still within striking distance.
Dead.
Yes, he is. So now we get the opportunity to kill Balthasar too. We'll have a legendary lord kill on a couple different legendary lords.
Always wins. Remember.
Again, if you've been watching my channel recently, Balthasar conjures up images of supporting giant gun lines. Well, that is not this episode. That is not this episode. Balthasar is in some serious trouble. The Emperor having recently fallen, he is now going to try his. He's got some Swords of Ulrich here. Those are the special swordsmen, and he's also got some Stir River Patrol crossbowmen, which their flaming ammunition could help against Grom. And Grom decides to pay them a visit, let them know he can help them become dinner, that is. So Grom's going to plow full-on into the rocket batteries, attempt to silence them, and displace the Humie army, as he best likes to do, as a giant opposing force. You can see Balthasar trying to remain safely in the air so that he doesn't have to be a part of this. His golden hounds are unleashed on the Waagh, but let's be honest, it's going to take more than a few magic dogs to stop Grom de Ponch. Hopefully the elves are taking notes here. We've got the Knights of Moor here charging in, so Balthasar's got a lot of really excellent units. Will it be enough to save him? See the fishy Tittlemuncher once again. Gonna drop just a brutal purple sun. Absolutely devastates Balthasar's army. And he can call down all the Searing Doom he likes. The fishy Tittlemuncher just caused way more damage than he's been able to accomplish. And Grom has effectively broken up a significant portion of all the infantry that was supporting. Gelt then gets desperate and charges into the fishy Tittlemuncher, who's going to give him the bag battering and vomiting of a lifetime. And the Mulcha there, I mean, just landing a Thanos punch right on Balthasar's head, as well as some Spirit Leech coming down as well. So a merciless beatdown of Balthasar, who is in way over his metal head in this fight against those two. That is a fight of heavyweights, and Balthasar is like a feather in the middle of it. See Grom's Waagh going off now too, regenerating his troops, giving them more attack. And a full-on body slam here from the Mulcha is going to send Balthasar fleeing from the battle. And just to send him out with a bit of a bang, he's going to get a Mither and be hit by lots of arrows here and a Spirit Leech on the way out. We don't let anybody off easy. So Balthasar is defeated, and Grom now adds a second legendary lord to his collection from the Empire Waagh. Well, and another Empire legendary lord becomes part of Grom's buffet. Oh, he got away. Did we get credit for beating him? Stolen from the Italy, glittering scare. Yep. Armor +6 for all units. What does that put our armor up to? 78 armor goblins. Sometimes I almost feel bad for these pathetic humies. I mean, almost. Not entirely. Ooh, our ambush stance worked here because now we've drawn in some dwarves who were trying to raid, and oh, they can just get away from us. How frustrating.
Not likely.
They can just get away from us. Alright, well, we're going to have to end a turn. Let's just go into it real quick. Patchy to Stabba. He's got more stabby.
Mork says what?
Always failing.
I refuse.
Stop being a failure.
Let's get stabby.
Okay. The fishy Tittlemuncher. Well, it looks like we get a chance to intercept the dwarves underground. I don't know what these chances are that they're giving them, so I guess this one will have to be fought as well. Now, Grombrindal is one dumb git. He just doesn't seem to learn. Here's the white dwarf, supposedly the great savior of the dwarves when they're in need. And Scrappius, the Spider Git, has unleashed his Arachnarok broods to discombobulate the dwarf lines here as his troops approach. They were firing their cannons, but they're going to be temporarily fighting against arachnophobia, and soon to be full-on arachnophobia when this big queen arrives. You can see them desperately trying to push back the spider spawn as Scrappius' Waagh approaches to teach Grombrindal a third lesson in the space of only one episode. So apparently the White Dwarf is also incredibly stupid. And while they were blobbed up, the Bride of the Gut uses her new purple sun here to give the dwarves a nice little opening present in this battle, causing massive damage to nearly all their units. And now the engagement's going to be drawn up. Let the face bashing begin. There will be many a beards ripped this day, as Grombrindal is going to be once again absolutely and thoroughly embarrassed. Got a big itchy nuisance here, debuffing all the Dawi, taking away base weapon damage and melee attack. You can see there's now a surrounding going on. The boys are going to completely surround the Dawi and destroy them. Ah, the fresh scent of spores on the wind as they're sploding through the Dawi. Snotling wagons, bag batterings. Oh, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Scrappius indeed. He has proven himself beyond what was required as a worthy lord under the command of Grom de Ponch. At this point, I only wish CA gave us a way for Scrappius to start gaining his own massive gut. Obviously, it would never match that of his boss, but, you know, feels like he deserves a big gut, too. Soon, though, he'll at least get a giant spider shrine mount. He is certainly working his way towards that, with the help of Grombrindal sacrificing himself over and over again. Speaking of Grombrindal, he's now going to get absolutely gang-busted by everything that's left because his army is utterly defeated. Alright, I think the chances of Grombrindal in the auto-resolve were greatly exaggerated. Alright, it's only one turn until we get a victory into Waagh, and I'm gonna go park in the Reek land so that they can't possibly steal this one from me like we had happen in our last Waagh. We're not letting that happen. I'm gonna go with mob boss, start dropping upkeep cost. Excellent. Oh, Warriors of Chaos are destroyed. We don't even have to do it. Wow, Chaos sucks. I'm gonna have to try out that better Chaos mod. So we managed to beat down some stunties, and I may just honestly go ahead and follow back here and like I think we may raise a couple of their settlements. We're getting closer to Grimgor's Ardboys. It'd be awesome if we could confederate these guys. Let's go ahead and get a non-aggression pact. Start building up diplomatic relations and then see if we can get the Ardboys to confederate with us. And we'll get the Great Black Orc fighting for the massive gut. And it'll be pretty perfect, honestly. Speaking of the gut, here's the Bride of the Gut. Can get Arcane Conduit. And Scrappius can get Arcane Conduit, so that's going to be way better for them. We got to get back here. Porco. Let's see if we can get an assassination in here. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Scavenge.
What you want?
And then Gazpacho here.
I'll have the doors open for the boys.
Alright, these finished specialists. Let's do damage walls. Could probably go ahead and do some research. And what's in this turn?
Next trophy.
Alright, this is pretty awesome. We get a plus 20 charge bonus to all of our armies, which means we're going to be getting some pretty serious charge bonuses in there. I don't know if it's like already showing up. Guess we could take a look and see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're getting massive charge bonuses. So, yeah, our army is going to be absolutely devastating in a full-on Waagh. Hope y'all enjoyed this extra long episode to complete the Humie Waagh. Now, we're going to have to be focusing on things to come, meaning going and taking the fight to Tor of Rest. So, hope y'all are ready for that. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.